The identity of the Chapter 3 antagonist has been revealed in newly discovered documents. Over the last 2 weeks, we have been unraveling the mystery of the giant that resides within the Playcare through the ARG, and we now know that it is a small orphaned boy that grew up within the Playcare. This is going to be a very long theory video, so go ahead and buckle up and let's jump right into it. In October, Playtime Co. made an announcement to make sure that all employees are checking their electronic emails. Fans rushed to the ARG website to check the mail icon. Attached to the ominous message was a picture of a printed transcript of a phone call. The phone call consists of a conversation between a new character, Joel Sinclair, head counselor of the Playcare, and Dr. Thomas Clark, an on-site pediatrician. Quick reminder here, Dr. Thomas Clark was the subject of the restoration VHS tape from this spring. The transcript reveals only Joel's part of the conversation, however, Thomas Clark's side is completely redacted. To summarize, Joel is asking Thomas about an incident that occurred early in the morning. A 7-year-old named Theodore was taken away by an ambulance at 4:45 a.m. covered in burns. It's noted he tried sneaking out of an area called Home Sweet Home, likely the sleeping dorms of the Playcare. Theodore got a hold of something he shouldn't know how to use, which might have resulted in his catastrophic injuries. There's a hidden password in this transcript that was pointed out by none other than ARG champion himself, Mirko. When this password is used in the confidential reports file, we gain access to more documents. This next document is a short letter to Leith Pierre detailing the death of an unknown Playtime Co. employee found with multiple puncture wounds and has been dead for weeks before being discovered. Now, using our imagination and some context clues, we're going to try to piece everything together and kind of figure out how these two documents are related. The beginning of this conversation feels easy to put together, as Joel is requesting details on the incident with young Theodore. It seems Thomas informs him the child is in serious condition but will survive, hence Joel responding with, "I guess that's something." Thomas briefly explains what happened to Theodore. When Joel presses for details, Thomas explains. It seems the child got a hold of something he shouldn't know how to use, and Thomas confirms that he shouldn't know, and suggests that somebody showed him. I don't believe it was the prototype or a toy, but rather an employee. Joel seems alarmed by this, hoping Thomas isn't suggesting an employee was the cause of Theodore's injuries. Joel's next response is why I think it may be an employee, saying he's always been a bit odd, hard to get a read on. Thomas may have asked him, "What do you know about this employee?" With Joel's response, Thomas might be telling him about some suspicious actions this odd employee had done within the factory that caused security to get involved. Thomas then asks Joel something. He answers that he has no clue. He may have asked Joel, since he is a head counselor, why this employee might have done this to Theodore. I believe a Playtime Co. employee is the one that put Theodore in danger, and is the same one that ended up dead in the following document. So how did this employee die? I believe the prototype killed him out of anger for harming the child, seeking revenge. The puncture wounds in the abdomen would match perfectly with the prototype's long, needle-like fingers, and he might have hidden the body discovered by other factory employees weeks later. On Halloween, we received even more documents after solving some insane puzzles, but it gave the super sleuths of the community access to the file we've been dying to get into, the Bigger Bodies Initiative folder. Inside, we have a project proposal for experiment 1188, the Chapter 3 antagonist, which is detailed to be a large purple cat. To summarize, the author of the document aims to make 1188 the most sophisticated and capable bigger body to date, and will be designed to specifically be placed in the Playcare. Other unknown experiments are listed, such as 1160 having high mobility, and how 1186 and 1187 were unsuccessful. Details of the process include how they plan to remove the brainstem from the spinal cord to prevent the collapse of the central nervous system. This is the first time we are told how they might be placing people into the toys, and it is a very high-risk procedure. Other small details include a gas apparatus to release the sleeping gas, the use of purple fabric, and retractable cat-like claws, and increased bone density. The author compares this project to 1170, aka Huggy Wuggy, and because 1188 has an immobile face, it will not be fitted with teeth to help maintain a less frightening appearance. Finally, they plan to make this giant capable of contorting its body to 1/3 of its size. Please note here, they don't say it can shrink, but like a contortionist, it will be able to twist its body in a way where it will be able to fit into small places. Below this, we see a list of candidates, one of them being Theodore Graham Bell, the boy injured after sneaking out of Home Sweet Home. These final 2 documents we're going to cover will tie the entire story together. In this next document, Joel Sinclair is writing to Stella Graber how he found Theodore rummaging through his filing cabinet when he should have been out playing. When he asks Theodore why he was doing it, Theodore responds because his imaginary friend told him to do so. The last memo notes that 2 grab packs, version 2.0, and 2 green hand attachments have been reported as missing after the morning routine maintenance. With everything we have covered so far, I think we now know what happened to Theodore and how he became the selected candidate for Experiment 1188. Theodore Graham Bell was likely exceptional in school and the physical testing within Playtime Co. He, along with a few others, were added as a list of candidates that would be placed within this new bigger body. The prototype, overhearing this news, likely began to speak to the children through the vents, claiming to be their friend and never revealing himself. Theodore, alone, befriends the mysterious voice, and that is when 1006 tells him to go into Joel's office to find the documents. Either he wanted the child to know, or he wanted to try to stop the experiment himself. The prototype warns young Theodore of what might happen to him and convinces him to escape, telling him to obtain grab packs for the 2 of them and the green hands so they can power open the doors. It is likely while Theodore was sneaking around with the equipment, he was caught by an employee. Whether on purpose or an accident, this run-in with the employee resulted in serious injury for Theodore, possibly by the green hands, which can hold electricity. Theodore might have been electrocuted and covered in electrical burns. Sometime after, Theodore was taken away by an ambulance, and the prototype was furious at the employee for injuring the child so severely, and he killed him, and then he hid the body. Weeks later, Theodore returns to the factory but is bedridden due to the pain. This likely resulted in Theodore going from a potential candidate to being selected. Like Thomas Clark wanted to extend his life, Playtime Co. extended the life of Theodore Graham Bell by placing the child into 1188 and putting the children to sleep so they could never leave the safety of Home Sweet Home. So what do you all think of these documents? It reveals so much about the Chapter 3 antagonist, the fact that it's probably a child and it's a giant purple cat. A lot of people were right in speculating that it was a cat, and the documents really are pointing in that direction, so I'm definitely one to believe it is definitely a purple cat. And of course, as always, leave your comments down below. Do you really think Theodore is the Chapter 3 antagonist? Do you think Joel is on the side of Playtime Co.? Maybe he doesn't support these experiments. Who knows? Who is the employee that might have possibly injured Theodore? How did Theodore get his burns? There's still a lot we don't necessarily know, and we're just kind of theorizing here. And as always, I will see you all in the next video.